So which one is right, Charles?
I think I know which one's right, but I'm going to try to figure this out by talking through it. Okay, is that all right?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so I'm going to look at the first one, and I'm going to say that can't be right for sort of a similar argument that we had when we were going from V of S to Q of SA. And I said, well, why can't you just have, Q of A? And it's because the action doesn't make any sense without some kind of state. And so here you're talking about a continuation, you said, from the state, but actually you wanted it to happen after the R.
Right.
So it just sort of doesn't work. Also, I'll just point out syntactically, if you look inside the equation, it's asking for A, but where's A coming from?
All right. So that's good enough to kind of rule this one out.
Yeah, so let's rule that one out. Let's just mark it no. Good. I feel pretty good about that. So the second one, I actually think the second one is right. So, but let's see if I can convince myself that's true. You've gotten your state, you took an action, and then you sort of got your reward, and now I want to know what's going to happen next. So let's see. So the next thing that happens is I'm going to get the discount sort of towards the future. What's the future? Well, the future is I have to get to the next state. So that summation over S prime is my expectation of where I'm going to end up next. It refers to S and A, which are passed in on the left-hand side of the equation. And then what I'm going to do next is I'm going to actually take the best action, and then I will receive the reward that I got for taking that action in the state I ended up in. And that puts me in the same place I was in before, and so then I can continue, so to speak, with the rest of the sequence.
That seems convincing.
So that seems to me like a good argument. But before I believe that, let me just sort of convince myself the other two aren't right. So if I look at the next one, C, S, A, and R, I actually think that could be right, except if you look inside the equation there, so same reasoning holds. I was in some state. Is that S prime underneath the summation?
Yeah, sorry.
Okay, so I'm going to do the same thing, do my expectation over the state. I end up in the next state, S prime. Then I take the best action I can. And then receive the reward that I received already? That doesn't make any sense. The reward I'm going to receive next has to depend upon where I'm going to be afterwards. So the R is in the wrong place, so that can't be right.
Yeah, and also the next call requires the reward for the following state, which of course we don't know yet. So there's nothing to pass in here. So this just doesn't work.
Right. Yeah, that's right. Actually, you can use the same argument to, I think, eliminate the next one. So this is an interesting function. I want to know, I was in a state, took an action, and ended up in the next state. That seems like something you kind of might want to keep track of. So I do the gamma. I'm going to go to the next state, but I'm summing over the next state I'm going to get to, but you passed in already the next state that I'm going to go to. So just on syntactic grounds, this doesn't make any sense. And I think the rest of it has the same problem you described before with R prime, which is I now have to know the next state I'm going to end up in.
Right, and that just hasn't been computed yet.
So this would work if we could go back in time, maybe?
We've done that before today.
Yeah, we have done that before today. But, you can only use the Scooby-Doo flashback effect once or twice in a day. So I think I've convinced myself that the other ones don't work. And in fact, the second one is the right answer.
Excellent. All right, that's what I was going for. So that we now have three Bellman equations, V, Q, and C. We're really going to focus mostly on on Q from now on. But I thought it would be interesting just to kind of see the relationship between these.
Okay, well, it makes sense. I mean, what you're saying is, look, we're having an infinite sequence of things, and where we choose to start the sequence, really, sort of mathematically, it doesn't matter, right? But you might choose to do one versus the other because it's easier to think about or easier to kind of learn or to do what it is you're trying to do. And you've argued so far, although you haven't told me why yet, that the Q is kind of going to be easier if you're doing reinforcement learning.
Exactly. And actually, that makes me think that maybe it would be helpful to have a quiz.
But we just had a quiz.
Maybe it would be useful to have another quiz.
Okay, sure.